So this week is the release of The Death of Superman 30th Anniversary Special #1. Got my hands on it, went through it. Let's do a review of it today here on the Geek Corner. Really appreciate you coming by the channel and being a part of the community here. Really means a lot to me. As a lifelong Superman fan, I've been collecting Superman comics for a long time. I've stopped recently, and I haven't bought any Superman comic books since the whole Son of Kal-El stories, and I got a video about that you can see up over here. But I picked this up and contemplating going back to Superman if they can turn that sinking ship around and actually write some good Superman stories. But that's a video for a whole other time. Let's talk today about The Death of Superman 30th Anniversary. Now, this was a great book with a bunch of one big story and a bunch of short stories in it. I'll give a couple of tiny little spoilers, so if you don't want any spoilers, please go pick up the book, read it, and then come back to the video here. But the Life of Superman is the main story in here by Dan Jurgens and Brett Breeding. Great to see them back in Superman. I mean, Dan Jurgens is my #2 favorite Superman writer and artist, after John Byrne, of course. John Byrne is my favorite Superman writer and artist. And in here they tell a cute story. Not the most amazing story, but a cute story of young John Kent, Superman's son, who's still a child in this story and hasn't been aged advanced into the new Superman, how he learns about the death of Superman when his father died. He learned about it in school. Isn't that just always the way things go, right? Our kids learn things that we don't want them to know about in school from somebody else. Parents, teach your kids the things you want them to know, okay? That's a little public service announcement there. But anyways, the story kind of then unfolds in a new Doomsday, who John Kent named the Doombreaker. And he's going around Metropolis, but he's weaker, and Superman's got to stop him. And again, this is why it was kind of a wonky story. I mean, there was no build up to this. It's just kind of this one-off little story. And turns out this is just some dude who had a piece of Doomsday that he had kept as a memento, as a souvenir of the death of Superman. And something from that piece of Doomsday was slowly corrupting him and turned him into a Doomsday. So I don't know if they'll do anything with this or if this is just really just some runoff one-shot story that's never going to go anywhere. Story-wise, it was pretty wonky, pretty silly, pretty weak. But the art was wonderful. Like, again, it was just so great to see, you know, like I said, Dan Jurgens in here. I got to do some zoom-ups after, but one of my favorite Superman artists. Like, I just love his style and the cleanness of his art, and it just really brings back the nostalgia of kind of like 1990s Superman here. It's like just great stuff. And so I really liked it for that, just to be able to kind of get a little bit of that old school feel. Now, I like new versions, you know, and new art styles and things like that. Don't get me wrong. I love creativity in comic books. More creative, the better, really. But it was nice to kind of go back. If you're going to honor the death of Superman, to bring back the original creators of it, bring back that art style. I thought that was a really nice touch. You know, and then the other short stories, you know, they're cute. I mean, again, there's nothing in here that really adds anything great to the death of Superman storyline. There's nothing, you know, that's like, wow, that was like just earth-shattering. It was just kind of nice to go back to this topic. It's one of my top favorite Superman stories, one of my favorite arcs that I have in my Superman collection. And this actually kind of really inspires me to go back to that collection and maybe dig out some of those books and reread a whole bunch of those story arcs and maybe even review some of the stories here on my channel, because there's some really, really, really good Superman stories down in those boxes in my storage room. So I really should dig those out and read those again. So all in all, I mean, a little pricey for, you know, a comic book. Like, it's, you know, it's not that much bigger than a normal comic book. I get it. Price of everything has gone up these days, but you know what? It was just fun to go back. So, I mean, again, love Superman. Love seeing Superman kind of get a little bit more attention again. Really hoping that this is going to generate a little bit more buzz with Superman, with the return of Clark Kent coming back into the comic books as Superman. And hopefully we'll start seeing some really good Superman comic books again. That'll get me to start reading them and collect them again. Because that Son of Kal-El gap, we just need to forget about that because those were terrible. Anyways, that's just a quick review. All in all, I'm giving this really a 4 out of 5 from a nostalgia point of view. Story-wise itself, if I was to review it just on story, it'd be like definitely like a 2.5 out of 5 because it's like I said, keep saying pretty wonky. But from a nostalgia point of view, definitely a 4 out of 5. Good addition to have in your Superman collection. And if you picked up this issue and you've read it, I'd love to know what you think about it down in the comment section below. And again, I really appreciate you being a part of the community here. All the proceeds from my YouTube channel go to support children down in Guatemala. So thank you so much for your partnership with that. So until the next video, God bless you, and we'll talk to you real soon. Take care, everyone.